Welcome to the Select If topic. The Select If provides a way of flexing different parts of the select command based on information from an outside source. There are times when you want a query to be flexible and interactive based on an external condition. For example, maybe you want to flex a qualification based on what the user enters at a prompt. So if a user enters MRN from the prompt, the qualification will get the information from the person alias table. If the user enters FIN at the prompt for financial number, the qualification flexes and uses the encounter alias table. In this case, the select if was used to flex which table to use for the query. Using the select if is the recommended method to flex the behavior of a select command. We can flex different parts of the select command using the select if and can flex one or more of the commands. The different parts of the query that can be flexed include the distinct operator, the into clause, the selection list, the tables in the from clause, the qualification section, the order by, the report writer sections, and the with clause. One or multiple parts can be flexed depending on what is needed. The select if functionality is more efficient than the call parser command or the parser function. The parser function was updated in Discern Explorer 8.10.4 to improve efficiency. So it is not bad as it used to be. However, using the select if is still the preferred method of flexing the select command. The reason for avoiding parser is that it adds additional processing that occurs at runtime, which can be avoided using the select if. Parser can also cause problems with memory management. Also, queries created using parser are more difficult to tune for efficiency. Use the select if for most scenarios where you need to flex a query. Let's review the syntax for the select if. Place the if condition and alternate clauses first, immediately after the select. Include only the clauses that you need to flex in the conditional statement. You can have multiple conditions and alternate clauses using else if. Again, you only include the clauses that you want to flex. After the end if, place the default clauses in the body of the select. This section of the select has multiple purposes. First, if none of the above conditions are met, this is the default query that will be executed. Second, this query forms the base that the other conditions will build onto or take away from. So, if a clause is not flexed, then the default clause contained in the body of the select is executed. However, if we flex a clause that also exists in the default query, then the clause in the default query will be ignored and the flex clause will be used in its place. The else part of the if statement is not needed, as else implies anything after the end if will form the default clauses of the query. Let's review an example to see how this works. Here we have a prompt program that has two prompts built. The first one is the output device, and the second one is prompting for the report type. The report type prompt works with the select if to ensure the desired clauses are run for the specific report type selected. Let's look at the default select. We are going to select into the output device passed in through the outDev prompt. We are getting this data from the person and orders tables, where the person was updated between 3 days ago and today, right now. Then, linking to the orders table on the person ID. We are going to capture the person ID and the name from the person table. We will capture the original order date and time field along with the display value of the catalog code field and activity type code from the orders table. Let's see what it would look like to flex a clause. Let's say for the report type of 2, we want to flex the fields in the select list from the base query. We only want the person ID, catalog code, and the display value of the activity type code field. The presence of the above fields will negate the fields present in the default query. Notice we did not include the into clause, the from clause, or the qualifications clause in the flexing syntax. We continue to use those clauses from the default query when the report type of 2 is selected. For the report type of 3, we only want to see the name and the display value of the catalog code. These fields will be displayed instead of the fields in the default query. We continue to use the other clauses from the default query since they are not flexed. That was pretty straightforward with only one clause being flexed. What would it look like to flex multiple clauses? Let's take a look. A similar query as before with the addition of an order by clause to sort by person ID, then by original order date and time. For report type of 2, we only want to see the person ID, catalog code, and the display value of the activity type code. What if we did not want to see this data sorted by person ID and then original order date and time? This is not a problem. We just add in the order by clause to the flexed statement and specify the sort order. When you flex more than one part of the select command, the clauses should be listed in the expected order for the select command. In this case, the order by follows the select list. Okay, for report type of 2, the results are sorted by catalog code in ascending order. This order by clause will override the default order by clause when report type of 2 is selected at the prompt. Let's see what else we can do when we add else if for the report type of 3. We start off with just the two fields to flex the select list. Maybe we want this data sorted differently as well. It's just as simple as adding in another order by clause. We flex the sort for report type of 3 to sort by just the person ID in ascending order. The data will be displayed in a much different manner than from the default query or if the report type of 2 was selected at the prompt. What if we had another requirement for the report type of 3 to control and display the data in a different way? Let's say using the distinct operator fulfills the display requirement. This is not a problem, we just add it in. Only report type of 3 will use the distinct operator. Any of the clauses being flexed must follow the same order of clauses that the select command syntax requires. When the report type is 3, we listed the distinct first, then followed that by the select list, and then added in the order by clause. It's that simple. Keep the clauses in the correct order and add in only the clauses that you need flexed. Then, all of the default clauses go in the main query. Thanks for listening. This concludes our discussion of the select if topic.